not letting me. Got it. I'll try to figure this out when I'm not taking up everybody else's time.
What you can do is you might want to do a search enabling Zoom screen share on a Mac. Go to Google and ask that question. It should give you the walkthrough.
Right. I don't want to waste anybody's time here.
Well, right now it's just the two of us.
Okay. Well, all right. It's
Go
a
for it.
limited,
What the hell?
limited scope of time wastage, I guess. So
Right.
all right. I got this. Zoom, it says here that Zoom will not be able to record the contents of your screen until it is quit.
Okay, so he's sharing screen now, so you have to wait until this is over.
Okay. I'll try it at a different day.
Welcome to the poetry reading with Fertile Brains, my dear friends. We have been nearly maybe people will be joining, but yes, we are four together. Fantastic four. Thank you, Henry, for joining last week. We couldn't, had honor of having you. A bit of, confusion occurred. And thank you, Ray, for joining. I hope you're doing great. But you're seeing after a long gap. And yes, Richard, as always, with his brain, fertile brain cap. But yes, let us begin. We got as you know, the world has been, I mean, we keep hearing many of, like, what could I say? How could I put it? Because, there are so much of miserability and as happening around, people are down with health issues and mental stress, depression. The other side, you get to hear the cries of wars and all. I don't know where we are heading to, but yes, through this medium, maybe we are trying to, you know, uh, make our voices heard to bring the peace and harmony and, much of the what do you call well-being and wellness to the people. That's what we expect, and have this gathering around. So, without wasting much of your time, please welcome. I would like to call upon, our. Uh, I have this special bonding with this poet of ours, and I cannot name a few, but then yes, Richard occupies a special heart. Of course, Ray and Henry too, but yes, Richard is first to begin. I would like to welcome Richard to share his pieces. Richard, you are free to go. And yes, I could see this there is a Mexican mouse.
Yep. Yep. So I have a little something for you this morning. I've got three little pieces for you. I'm only going to read part one of Mexican Mouse. It's about a 6-7 minute piece all in all, and I only read a chapter at a time. So here we go. Chapter one of Mexican Mouse. The Mexican Mouse visited my house. He told tall tales as far as he could stretch, and you know what happened next. He dared all the poets, the girls, and the boys to gather their verbs, their nouns, and such toys to construct an elaborate structure of whimsy, climb up on its roof and down through the little chimney. He found some cheese, it made him quite pleased. He marched right into it up to his knees. He found cottage and mozzarella and parmesan. It reminded him of the farm when he was little that he grew up on. He found a tiny horsey hidden away, lying deep in the straw so as not to give himself away. But this little charger was just the right size for the Mexican Mouse to saddle and ride. He rode round the kitchen, searching this way, that way. His tiny steed was searching. Despite its tiny size, there was no great leap he wouldn't try. From the floor to the kitchen counter in one great leap, then up to the cabinets to the very peak. From there he could survey the kitchen complete, the knife rack, the double sink, the fruit juicer, which he might climb down on, but he would never be a user. His first plan he hatched was to pry open the fridge. He had an idea to get off this ledge. He would slide down the handle and check for a release. He had designs on that some that kept all the cheese. He would pry open that suction fit lock. He rummaged through his memory, but it seemed he was stuck. He noticed a can of WD-40 and suddenly thought of his sweet cousin Morty. Morty loved to disassemble locks. He knew every trick from the bottom to the top. He used a straw nozzle of that lubricating spray, and whatever came out extra, he'd use on his skates. He pushed and he shoved till that tiny straw went in. He squirted the lubricant for a day and a night. It might have been longer. He could never quite tell, as long as he's got 2 volumes of memoirs to sell. From the inserted straw, it bubbled and rolled down the seam. Little by little, the little mouse got his dream. The fridge door swung open. It caught him by surprise. He blinked and he burned when he saw the insides. I'm going to stop at chapter 1. And then I'm going to read you 2 other very much lighthearted pieces. This is called If It's Laughter You're After. They tell me it's good for you to laugh. Laugh once, laugh twice. Deep in your life, joy you will splice. Whether chuckles or snickers, either way might untwist your knickers. Whether with jokes or old-fashioned well-delivered spokes. Whether cute little dogs hopping frogs on logs or Charlie Chaplin in cogs. jumping over bogs. Activating joy and mirth feeds the brain for all it's worth. Activating mirth and joy brings the giddy happy each girl and boy. Laughter can heal even that which you can never conceal. Even babies are fast to laugh, still smiling barely in their cribs. The little funny faces tickle their tiny ribs. Activating joy and mirth feeds the brain for all it's worth. Activating mirth and joy makes giddy happy each girl and boy. Physiologists acknowledge this, a complex set of muscles, they insist, developing muscles that work at great lengths that go on to develop the upper body strengths. Laughter, doing after, or even observing involves quite a few muscles that we're learning. A great chunk of the brain will never complain. The motor cortex controls the muscles, the frontal lobes which provide the reason, and the limbic system which modulates our intake of jokes in or out of season. Connecting all these great systems, sit back and enjoy it, don't resist. Activating joy and mirth feeds the brain for all it's worth. Activating mirth and joy makes giddy happy each girl and boy. And then finally, and this is particularly important to me these days, it's called Positivity is No Luxury. Positivity is no luxury. It ultimately falls on me. Is it little fall like a kitten whose mittens are recalled, or a near total anecdotal calamity that befalls the poorest entity of all? They say relies on me for a culinary treat made from a dazzling array of a lizard parfait somewhere late at the end of a long, boring date. Or, say, attend a concert I'd rather not play using an 8-piece tuba ensemble, say. Or an 80-bass band that performs a 3-movement etude on a fire alarm. My earliest transcription on the theme of Verne's mission, the collision of voyage destroyed to the moon. Again, the tiniest, trumpiest of trumpets will noisily swoon. Over the facts of the Vax parlay, at the end of the day, they still won't groom that goat, so they say. And though the mortgage of their reason amidst such an extended season of COVID doing much like it once did, they'll remain unconvinced like Bottom's Peter Quince. Understanding polarity is no means a solitary barbarity. It's just the old bipolar nature. Its requirements are gratefully matured by the meanest of excuses on the dizziest and perfidious of muses. Is there a plus, he cussed into her fluffy feathered muff? Or is the needle at zero like some kind of movie hero who runs on and on, exactly the opposite of some kind of fawn? And when the hero near zero opines that after an earthquake and upheaval the opportunities abound, although they're not quite near zero, I mean, what's disaster for but change? The old ways are understood now, let's say, well, out of range, where the musicians arrange some kind of exchange for quiet, like the tiniest of interstitial microdot riot. And the era of positivity plays the bestest of Western parlays when it ignores and explains the obvious, noisiest rattling away. But the discovery of new facts makes even the windstorm relax and distributes the leaves and seeds, heck, just a breeze. Thank you, my friends. Thank you very much.
Well, that's wonderful, sir. As always, very inspiring with your tidbits of joy, a lighter in a lighter vein, but always we get to inspire with your words. Brilliant as always. Richard, that was. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. Please welcome Dr. Vizila Kaviarasan after a long gap. Yes.
Namaste, good evening.
Hi, well, namaste. Yes, doctor, please. Vizila. Please go ahead, ma'am. We can't hear you. Okay, in meantime, I could call upon Ray. Ray is our ma'am. You could set your mic on, and I'll. In meantime, I could ask Ray to, uh,
Hello, everyone. Thank you
present
for
as well.
having me on, Kumar. I appreciate always being here. And I have a new book on the publisher's desk. It's not available to the public yet, but I'd like to read 3 selections from the new book. The new book is called Where We Find Animals, and it is a book of poetry and my photography, but each poem has at least an animal in it, and the animal is a metaphor to the poem. So I'm going to read 3 of these. And we'll start off with this one. It's called In a Tent on the Bear Preserve. There, a creek crosses the old road. Whither it leads up yonder green mountain, here's spring has rushed in with little bright leaves, greener than green could be imagined, that shimmer in warm breezes. I make camp not too far from that immaculate view. My only friends, the ancient poplars, near, their trunks so thick that arms do not meet, stretching around, examining the truths of loving. A simile are the storm's waves lapping lakeside against the shore. Bears walk through under darkness. Camp is comfortable in amongst the trees. The gray-barked poplars speak their wisdoms in the winds, only in the winds. Their truths beckon easily, believable as the breeze ripples across the rain fly. My cot and blankets thus lay my mind to rest. There is no jazz playing in this forest. I knew once to look for it, having sat listening with someone who knew not her strength in love, yet smiled and hugged me anyway, as if there was no end, no subtle division of it. Silence. I will stay silent here for some time, returning to the ornery busyness of a city only reluctantly, going that yellow distance of a sunset starting in the east. Over my camp, sunset is a riot of colors. Moving over the poplars, I am content with solitude. The black bear has walked on the lake's rocky shore, careless in moving stones about, her tracks distinguish, define. There are no fish to catch in this place. The tracks move away from where the waves lap, vanishing as silent as a leaf falling in the wood. Thank you. Thank you. This next one is called Stories from the Before. There are a great many warriors, and the tales about them are about the steel. The shiny metal dragons flying, separating the wood. Gray metal whales cleaving the sea. Those steel rhinos dissevering the enemy. There are a great many renditions about the brave, who once having been fearful became fearless, facing enemies with found courage. My father was one of them. He flew steel dragons dropping from the sky inside God's bubble, making the ground shake and those on it afraid of the fire from the sky. 3 great conflicts did he fly the steel dragons, girdling his loincloth to be ready for the fight, carrying the fire to his enemies. There are many accounts of dropping out of the clouds, silently falling earthwards, bringing terror to those bound to the ground, the hordes of Mongols dissolved. I have his blood in me, being of the warrior clan. Courage flows in my arteries, resilience courses in my veins because of that. It is a joy to know this part of me. Because of that, I can look the bear in the eye. If I should die from it, that will be a good death. I will join the others from the before. Swiftly, when that occurs, the shared blood draws it nigh. My father waits for me there. We will see each other again and tell our stories from the earth. Thank you. And I have one more. So It is called Black Jaguar. Moving away in the pre-dawn light through the mostly dark scrub brush of the beach, putting distance along and away and then over, doubling back as if to follow the energy it felt. The moon had shifted into a new moon from its last reincarnation of blood moon. He retreated, moving back to the safety of porch light, or the illusion of safety that all would somehow remain well near a structure. It was important to get to the rocks, to bathe in water energy from crashing waves, the direction heretofore untraveled needed it. Hearing its breathing just around the corner, freezing, not daring to look or even breathe. Both he and that animal were formidable. Jaguar stealthily came around and looked at him. Unafraid of each other, they were both still in the pre-dawn, looking intently into each other's eyes, waiting for the moment of realization, really for the transference of spirit each had to give. Receiving courage, strength, and just enough stealth from Jaguar, Jaguar kept eye contact. Receiving intuition also, reading signs with unveiled eyes, he broke eye contact with his feline brother. Thanking it out loud, hearing a low grunt in response, no blood shed or combat like infantry with swords. Each moved back to their own spheres, better prepared to press into a new path awaiting a new moon, demanding, insisting, no choice but to be traveled to into differences shaped by old blood moons fading. Thank you.
Resilience is coursing through your veins. What a wonderful line. Right? Always. What a brilliant imagery and powerful indeed. That was Ray. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Congratulations on your new book, and I wish you would read out from your new book too. And once you had this solo session, please welcome Henry L. Jones. He's a wonderful open mic artist. He's a very award-winning poet. Please.
I'll post a link to the book when it's available. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you. Henry, you're up.
Good morning. Well, it's morning here, or perhaps afternoon or evening where you are. Kumar and everyone. I'm going to share 3 poems with you. They're in my book, Black Skillet Blues, Poetry Without Cornbread. And I too have to follow Rick to the same place. Because I said, oh my gosh, but I didn't want to miss this. The first one is titled Sleeping. I'm awaiting the warmth of spring and summer. I'm tired of the cold. And this poem was inspired from that, Sleeping. Leaves fall, twisting and tumbling along the wind's currents, dry, crisp skin, too brittle to withstand sudden gusts. Pieces of their flesh break off, fragments of dreams, broken mirrors of summers past. Somewhere among those remains, you got lost in the fall. Now you await the cold of winter, surrounded by layers of leaves and hidden seeds. Everything must rest. Your eyelids slowly close, holding for dreams of dancing in the sun to keep your shallow beating heart alive until spring's warmth returns. Sleeping. The next one is titled Remembering the Message. Our children are supposed to do better than we did. This is why we walked, marched like soldiers determined to see a change, the needed change, with the stories and memories of who sacrificed so much for us. Their blood on our hands, like a birthmark, covering our fingers, pointing at the past with crimson ends, where we can see the blackened colors trapped under our fingernails where the strength remains, hides waiting to be used to do one thing, as they strive with all our might. Or at times becoming weary, we hear from the echoes of the past ancestors scream to us, sounding like a ringing in our ears, but from an infection, but not from an infection, but convection. Their message is hold on, don't give up. We discovered we can do it, and we continue. And the last one is titled, I Reach. I reach toward the sky, pulling and throwing myself in all directions. The stars await beyond the sun's glares of day and dull shadows, blocking my true path and journey with a storm of colors. My eyes blurred by the chaos surrounding and trying to fill me. But I keep reaching up for the paths of distant light. I see them in my heady eye of spiritual glow, bumped by the ancestors' chants. Find your way through the stars. They shout, guiding me safely. I see beyond the chaos. My path is clear. I follow, unhesitating. I know they're there waiting for me, wanting to touch my fingers like a lover's embracing hand, seeking that gentle moment of contact, which means you are now in the night, in the right place, next to me forever. I reach. Thank you, my friends. Thank you.
You gradually reach your heights. Very wisdom-filled lines always, Henry. Thanks for making it tonight. Yeah, that was Henry with his very thoughtful and profound pieces. Give a round of applause, my dear friends. Henry, thanks for coming and thanks for joining. He's gone. Please welcome Dr. Vizila Kaviarasan.
Thank you, sir. So, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So, first poem, Soul Journey. The path unfolds, long and deep. My eyes plunge into the abyss of despair. One gaze in communion with the other to expose the ever-present unseen tragedy. My hands entwined with the prescription, a script awaiting the doctor's signature. My feet sense the chillness of the floor. Daily cleansed resonates twice in my soles. The grand hall's doors swing open. Lunchtime spills onto every bedside table. Iris and pupil whisper secrets to the retina, visualized with poignant ambiguity. Patients adorned with scars and bandages. Around necks and throats, a diverse array of women. I obtain my signed prescription, guided by a duty nurse. A token for free healing. For my father seeking solace in treatment. Waiting outside proves not mundane. A young chatmate, perhaps 6 or 5. Her cute charm converses in Malayalam. Her delightful twists, giggles, and timeless talks, playfully jesting with my own. She awaits her father, engaged in the same signature process. Father returns as hastily, whispering secrets to the bud's ear. She bids farewell with a smile, and off she goes. My father, his eyes filled with frustration, bewildered by the charm of innocence, whispered to me, She too seeks the same treatment. Taken aback I was. He utters those regretful words. Blood transfusion awaits her. Wild blood cancer claims her life. Slightly different paths of treatment, but at her final stage. I pray to God, questioning whom to beseech, dear God. Thank you, sir. Sir, shall I read another poem in my mother tongue?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, the title I have given for this poem is Pohiranavan. Pohiranavan. பொக்கிஷமாய் பெற்றெடுத்த பிள்ளையாம் பிழைக்க தெரியாமல் போகிறான். தன்னார்வம் சிலதுண்டு அவனிடத்திலே, பொது ஆர்வம் புரட்டி எடுக்க போகிறான். உயிர் கொடுத்தவனோ உடனிருக்கவில்லை, உடல் கொடுத்தவளோ வேறறுந்த பொம்மை. மதியருந்த நீயோ தாய்க்கு எங்கே பிள்ளை, உன்போல் ஒருவன் நானும் கண்டதில்லை. சிலைக்கு கூட தெரியும் அதுவே நிலை என்று, பூக்கு கூட அறியும் உதிர்ந்து போகும் என்று. மனித வாழ்வு மட்டும் நிலைக்கும் என்றா கண்டாய், மானுட ஜாதி கூட மக்கும் ஜாதி தானடா. பெருங்கடலை போல கரையை காட்டி நில்லு, மலை உயரம் போல மாண்பு காட்டி நில்லு. கட்டவிழ்ந்த நீயும் களை எடுக்கச் சென்றால் கரை காணும் நேரம் கடுந்தொலைவு ஆகும். தேங்க்யூ சார்.
Wow, so beautiful, ma'am. Beautiful. I think it's about humanity and all, but it's so beautifully recited. I love the words. And the first English poem is very, I mean, it's a different take. So beautiful.
Experience.
Eh?
I went along with my father for a treatment. He is no more now.
I understand, ma'am. But very well narrated, beautifully described. Thank you for joining, ma'am. Thank you. That was Vizila Kaviarasan. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. Up next is joining us for the first time. Please welcome Dr. Ashok Bendre. Ashok Bendre. Ashok Sonali Bendre. Ashok Bendre.
Archana Bendre.
Archana Bendre. Archana Bendre. Ma'am, please unmute your mic. Please unmute your mic, ma'am. Please turn on your mic. I'm just trying from my side. There is a mic icon there in the you will find a mic icon down left corner of your device, ma'am. Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. Such an honor.
My pleasure. Do I give my introduction? Hello, Roopali.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead. It's all yours. It's all yours. Please. Please, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am. Please.
Do I read?
Yes.
My
Go ahead.
poem?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Hello, Roopali. Hi.
Don't worry.
Okay, I'm done. I'm reading my poem. Life is a ferry. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Life is a, this is the poem for all of us. Why our life is a ferry. We are on this earth and it is just like we are in a ferry. I opened my eyes to a vacant sky, so serene a sight with a dazzling light. I looked around to a musical sound. There is a canvas, paint as you like, for life is a ferry, life is a ferry. From end to end, there was not a bend. I splashed colors on the canvas to blend. Scenes that materialize saints and sages and slaves in cages or shows of time from bygone ages. Tides and tempests testing my patience, riding high on waves, experiencing thrill and gales, for life is a ferry, life is a ferry. The erupting volcanic tyranny, causing blasphemy, slaughtering many, and losing to the greed of insanity and infamy. My boat is twirling in the whirlpool of destiny. Behold, life is for some flourishing in luxury, some living in penury, to some enduring, some living in misery. I love the morning mist, for life is a ferry, life is a ferry. I love the morning mist, but fear the ghastly fog. One is soothing, the other confusing. For life is a ferry, life is a ferry. Hail, the aura of dawn, and the aroma of flora and fauna. The ecstatic jaded garden that rise above the mountains, the gurgling stream flowing down the hill, the echoing noisy river rushing along to meet their savior. I looked up to the bright sky and prayed to the benevolent eyes to direct the lost ones to their humble homes, lovable homes, for life is a ferry, life is a ferry.
Wow, so beautiful, ma'am. So beautiful. So, this would be loved by children and adults as well. Beautiful rhyming, I would say. If you have another one, you could go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am. Please. Please go ahead, ma'am. Please go ahead.
another.
Oh, yes, ma'am. If you wish to read, if you are comfortable.
Yes, I am comfortable. Shall I read another poem?
Ji, sure.
Yes, Rupali?
Ha.
Yes, go ahead.
I am
Archana,
audible.
go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Shall I
Read another poem.
Shall I read another poem?
Yes, please.
Okay. This is my one of the earliest poems, The Flame of the Forest. The flame of the forest is a flower in Uttarakhand, rhododendron flowers that gives in the summer a fiery look to the garden. So I'm reading that poem. The Flame of the Forest. Oh, flame of the forest, when others abhorrent, bejeweled in a crest, give life at its best. Oh, flame of the forest, lying between green and fawn, you are the nature's dawn, enthusing canaries and kites, and swallows to rise. Oh, flame of the forest, to enliven the bygone spring, to color the dusty wind, and nightingale to sing, joy to all you bring. Oh, flame of the forest, how the lovers flock to you, the minstrels sing to you. Your flame reaching high, causing lovers to pine and sigh. I am flame of the forest, and the dearest, standing from the rest in Mother Nature's breast. Though there is no dearth in the treasure of earth, of topaz and emerald, but not rubies reachable. Like many of you, parting daring who. Yes, I am the one, glowing in the sun, Though mute I stand, how exuberant I am, flaming between silver and tan. I am the nature's dawn. Soon I will be gone with the coil's song, shedding my tears like scattered pearls. When off I am blown to a distant land, there I shall sing of a cherished song, waiting for the fire with burning desire, running, ruling hearts of millions with spectre vermilion. With every ray of hope gleaming from the distant globe, I shall play the host when you need me the most. That's
Oh, lovely rhyming, ma'am. Lovely rhyming.
Yes.
Beautiful
Thank you so
reading.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Archana. Both
Uh-huh.
your poems were both your poems are rooted in nature and full of philosophy. And I know Uttarakhand is full of the rhododendron, and it flames the flame of the forest, and it speaks for itself. And you sitting in the city of Meerut, writing about these wonderful places. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
and welcome, and keep coming every Sunday.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, ma'am. Keep coming, and we love to hear you, and love your reading. Beautiful rhyming, I would say.
Thank you.
Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. Dr. Archana Bendre joined us for the first time with her lovely
Thank
poems.
you.
Uh,
Yes.
we have up next is Aruna Rao. Please welcome Aruna Rao has joined us for the first time. Aruna Rao, yes, ma'am, yes, go ahead, please. Aruna Rao. Please unmute your mic, ma'am, please.
Is it okay now?
Yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I didn't expect my number to come so soon. So I was just taking it easy and listening to all the wonderful poetry that was being read. So just give me a moment before I just look for. Okay. Can you hear me? Right now, I think you'll just have to you have a choice between hearing my voice or seeing my face.
We can hear you, ma'am.
Yeah.
No, we
Yeah,
can't see you.
Yeah, because I haven't written it down in a separate book, so I just wrote it and sent it to my sister. So I'm just reading it from that WhatsApp message which I sent her. So
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Sure.
yeah.
Thank you.
So actually it is सबके जीवन की शाम है ये. ज्यादातर लोगों की उम्र ऐसा तो हम that's what I meant. We are getting on in age. It's हमारी शाम इसलिए भी है क्योंकि हम रिटायर होने वाले हैं जून में, तो इसलिए उस तरीके से भी जो अभी का जीवन है उसकी शाम है, लेकिन आने वाला एक नया सवेरा है. तो उसके बारे में कभी ऐसे ही बैठे एक दिन हम सोच रहे थे, तो ये कुछ मन में भाव आए थे. बस 2 ही पैराग्राफ्स हैं, तो हम बस उनको पढ़ देते हैं. हवाओं में महक कुछ नई नई सी है, और डालियों में भी लचक कुछ नई नई सी है. बातों की बात छोड़ो सखी, चेहरे पे मुस्कुराहट भी नई नई सी है. चांद की चांदनी भी कुछ नई नई सी है, घटाओं की छटा भी नई नई सी है. मद के मतवालों की यह बात नहीं आली, प्यासे पपीहे की गुहार भी कुछ नई नई सी है. तो अब पुराना जीवन तो छोड़ चले, अब देखिए प्यासे पपीहे की तरह आगे हमको जीवन और क्या प्रदान करता है. धन्यवाद.
बहुत खूब, मैम. बहुत बढ़िया. If you have another one, you could read, ma'am.
अच्छा, उसको भी खोजना पड़ेगा हमको. कि हमने कब किसको भेजा था. ज्यादातर तो रूपाली को ही भेजते हैं जो पहले लिखते हैं. तो उनके व्हाट्सएप में से हमको ढूंढना पड़ेगा। तो फिलहाल तो हाँ, वो शायद आपने सुना भी होगा उसको, तो हम इसलिए आई डोंट वांट टू रिपीट इट, सो
No, please do. Please do.
हाँ।
Read it out. Doesn't matter.
अच्छा, तो एक ये शायद जीवन के संघर्ष के ऊपर था, जूझने के ऊपर था। ये रूपाली एक बार एक समारोह में कुछ उसकी लड़ाई और उसकी बात कर रही थी, तब हमने पढ़ा था। हाँ, नहीं, लेकिन ये उसके पहले की है एक। अच्छा, दिस इज जस्ट, जैसे कभी कभी बैठे रहते हैं तो बचपन की यादें सताती हैं, तो ये उसका जिक्र है इस कविता में, कि कल रात सपने में हम फिर एक बार अपने घर गए थे, वहीं जहां बाहर के आंगन में पारिजात का एक पेड़ था, जिसके नीचे चादर बिछाकर पूजा के लिए सबसे ज्यादा फूल समेटने की होड़ लगा करती थी, जहां शाम से ही रात की तैयारी शुरू हो जाया करती थी। पानी का छिड़काव, चारपाई की रस्सी खींचकर कसना और मसहरी लगाना, बिस्तर के पास टेबल फैन और सुराही का सजना, सब याद आ गया। लेकिन यह क्या, यहाँ तो सब वीरान पड़ा था। पेड़ तो था, पर वह हर श्रृंगार भूलकर मौन खड़ा था। पारिजात को हर श्रृंगार भी बोला जाता है। न तो उसमें फूल थे, न उनकी खुशबू। मिट्टी की सौंधी महक भी खो गई थी कहीं। बहुत दिनों से कोई छिड़काव नहीं हुआ था ना। भाई बहन भी बड़े होकर दूर कहीं अन्य बसेरों में पहुंच गए थे। बस यादें शेष रह गई थी उनकी किलकारियों की। सोचते रहे, कहाँ ढूंढूं बचपन की वह अमीरी, जब सर पर बड़ों का हाथ था और बगल में अपनों का साथ था। निराश मन से लौट ही रहे थे कि दूर से एक आवाज आई, नानी की। हमेशा की तरह वह कह रही थी, हमरी अखियन से देखो मिल गई है। यह हमारी नानी का होता था। कभी हम बच्चों को भेजती थी ना दूसरे कमरे से कि जाके हमरा चश्मा ले आओ या जाके हमारी किताब ले आओ, तो हम लोग वहां जाके जैसे बच्चे करते हैं इधर उधर देखकर आके बोल देते, नानी नहीं मिली। तो वो यही कहती थी, हमरी अखियन से देखो मिल गई है। तो बस उसी का जिक्र है। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Aruna. It took us back to our homes, took us back to relationships. Such beautiful poetry.
थैंक यू।
हमारी अखियों से देखो मिल जाएगी, अरुणा
मिल
राव
जाई
में।
है। हाँ, वो हमेशा उनके पास तो एक पूरा एक खजाना था ऐसी सब चीजें बोलने का। कभी दोपहर की गर्मी में, आजकल तो पेरेंट्स आर वेरी प्रोटेक्टिव, दोपहर में बाहर नहीं जाने देते कि
जी
बच्चों
जी।
को लू लग जाएगी या ये हो जाएगा, लेकिन उस टाइम पे ऐसा कुछ नहीं था। वी वर मेड स्ट्रांग बिकॉज वी वर सेंट आउट एंड वी वर मेड टू डू वर्क। तो दोपहर को जब भेजती थी कहीं लाने के लिए और हम कहते थे नानी बहुत गर्मी है, तो कहती थी बताशा नहीं हो कि पिघल जाओगी, जाओ।
Aruna, why can't we see your beautiful face? Where is your audio, your video?
Yeah, so okay, I'll get back to the video thing. One sec. It's trying to juggle around with all this now. So okay, let me see. Yeah, now I think I should get back to it. So you'll get to see my face. Yes. Start video. Okay. Yeah. And another one which I remember her very dearly for is जब हम लोग कुछ बेवकूफी, महा बेवकूफी की बात किया करते थे, और बच्चे तो आप जानते ही हैं कि कितने बेवकूफी की बात करते हैं बच्चे, के आजकल तो बड़े बड़े भी करते हैं। तो वो बोलती थी कि तुम लोगन को पढ़ाने लिखाने का कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ, उतने पैसे में हम आगे लगा के तापते तो हमरे जीवन भर का जाड़ा दूर हुई जाता. मतलब setting fire to the money would have been a better investment than educating you idiots. Why did I spend so much of money on educating you? So I remember her very fondly for all these things that she used to say, and I still remember them.
That's so amazing, ma'am. That's so
Yeah.
amazing. So lovely, I
Yeah,
would say.
thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Aruna ma'am. Keep coming
Yeah.
and keep, making us hear, listen your, so wonderful. I mean, always. Please give a round of applause.
I'm very thankful to all of you, and especially Roopali for always providing me with the motivation and the inspiration to write. Any little thing, she is always after me. You must write something. You must come for this. And if I do come for this, it's because of her. So thank you, Roopali. Thank you for always being there.
Absolutely, ma'am. And thanks
Yeah.
to Roopali, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining. And
Yeah.
please welcome, please give a round of applause, my dear friends, and please welcome our superstar RezaUddin Stalin. Please, please, RezaUddin Stalin, as a well-known poet from Bangladesh. RezaUddin Stalin, please give a.
Do you hear me, Kumar Prasanna?
Sir, please
Now?
go ahead. Please go
Do you
ahead,
hear
sir.
me? Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank
Go
you.
ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead,
Yeah.
sir.
Now I'm in Saudi Arab. I enjoying now already. I'm enjoying here a poetry festival, international poetry festival. Arab world is arranged a program, a big program. I invited here. Now I'm in hotel. I am from hotel. The title of my poem: Playing Football. Our death game starts prior to our birth. We play in the field of our heart and use selenium as our ball. The players at the wrists of our children and dead ones. They play with the opponents, the spines, the wrist throw, balls, and the spine defend. The spines foul up and the eyes start show red. Card. This is how
Some network issue has happened, and but unfortunately, the line has been cut. Of RezaUddin sirs, and he might join later. But yes, before that, let me welcome Dr. Garima, Miss Garima Sudan Kapoor. Miss Garima Sudan Kapoor with her child. She's a wonderful poet. She writes in Hindi, English, and Punjabi language as well. I realize, yeah. Garima Sudan Kapoor. Please
Good
give a round of
evening to one and all. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you so much. I would like to recite my English poem, Who Am I? The title is Who Am I? Who am I? and what is my name? How much I'm connected to each and every one and what work I do. Why am I responsible for all these questions? Why am I responsible for all these questions? I must answer my own questions if I have a doubt. Since I'm a woman, so do I have to fulfill my responsibilities well in every situation, in every condition? Who am I? Am I just a woman? Am I just a woman? Am I not a human being? I also breathe and feel pain. The irony is that in the collection of these questions, not only men, but also women stand against women. What kind of society is this? And how about its rules and regulations? How about its rules and principles? You have also faced the same questions where you are standing against a woman. Who are you and who am I? Understand and try to know this much, that we are made up of same clay. Then what kind of discord or disharmony is this? Understand and try to know we are made up of same clay. Then what kind of discord and disharmony is this? Standing against each other. Give sympathy and support, patience and trust to each other. Who are you and who am I? Along with a woman's existence, I am also a human being, like you two are. Thank you.
Brilliant, ma'am. Is
Sir,
your
I
kid
would like to
gonna?
say one Hindi poem, if the time permits.
Yeah,
Otherwise, no
please,
issues.
please.
I'll just give
If
back to you.
the kid wanna read the poem,
She will be reciting.
yeah, please, please.
I'll just give her, okay?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, sir, for this opportunity. And yeah,
Thank you.
the title of my poem is "O Aurora, Light of Mine." So shall I start? Okay. For I beheld, she was the sun herself, bright and unapologetic, and blinded common man with her sheer brilliance. She was a flame that refused to be extinguished, her flames jumping and dancing merrily, while others were only sparks. O Aurora, light of mine, O Aurora, don't lose your shine. And yet she was unaware. She cast an impression wherever she went, glowing brighter, a kind of radiance so out of reach no one could come close to it. O Aurora, do you see the glow you cast? O Aurora, you make people look to the future and leave behind their past. O Aurora, how is your love so vast? O Aurora, tell me, how does everyone leave you so fast? People stayed away, kept their distance from her to keep themselves safe, to stay in their own little bubble of darkness, away from the enlightenment that comes with her shine. But I couldn't help myself. I went closer and burned up unknowingly. Because how can you not fall in love with the sun? Thank you. That was all.
Thank you.
Oh, Aurora, that was mature. Brilliant.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. You have a Hindi poem too. Please read.
Sir, shall I?
Yes, please go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. I'll be reciting in my mother tongue, that is Hindi. कविता का शीर्षक ये कैसा अंतर्द्वंद्व है। ये कैसा अंतर्द्वंद है जो मेरे अंदर चल रहा है। समझा रही हूं खुद को कि वक्त बदल रहा है। मैं भी बदल रही हूं कि ये दुनियादारी का चलन है। उस रंग में मैं भी घुल जाऊं जो अनुभव है सिखाता। जिस रंग से दूर भागती थी, जिस रंग से दूर भागती थी मैं, वो रंग मुझ पर भी चढ़ रहा है। कैसे छुड़ाऊं इसे कि जानती नहीं मैं, ये कितना असर कर रहा है। कैसे छुड़ाऊं इसे मैं कि जानती नहीं मैं कि ये कितना असर कर रहा है। सुनती हूं कि बदलाव प्रकृति का नियम है। तो क्या नियम मेरे लिए अलग है और दुनिया के लिए अलग। गर यही दुनियादारी तो क्या ये संकेत बना रहे हैं मुझे सजग। अपने अक्स से खुद ही सवाल पूछती हूँ, जिनके जवाब कई रंगों में नजर हैं आते। फिर भी इस उधेड़ बुन में खुद उलझ जाती हूँ कि कई पन्ने मेरे दिलो दिमाग से परे हैं। फिर भी इस उधेड़ बुन में मैं खुद उलझ जाती हूँ कि कई पन्ने मेरे दिलो दिमाग से परे हैं। जिस किताब को मैंने हाल फिलहाल पढ़ना शुरू किया है, क्यों स्वीकारता नहीं मन जो दिमाग पढ़ रहा है। क्यों भावनाओं में व्यवहारिकता का रंग इस कदर घुल रहा है कि ठाट भाट का दिखावा भावनाओं पर भारी पड़ रहा है। ये कैसा अंतर्द्वंद है जो मेरे अंदर चल रहा है। समझा रही हूं खुद को कि वक्त बदल रहा है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया।
That was really beautiful, Garima.
Thank you so
Lovely
much,
poem.
Roopali. Thank you so much, Roopali.
So many layers of meaning.
Yes. Straight from the heart. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful opportunities
And the
for
way
me and
she
my
read,
daughter.
and the way she read enhances enhance the beauty of that poem, and very deep, very profound, and for a moment it's like I was just looking within an introspective kind. Ux, when you use Ux, it is very deep, and the scene portrays. So it's very beautiful, man. And
Thank
I
you.
love the auroras.
Thank you.
Garima, what's her kid's name, ma'am? Please, sorry.
Diya.
Diya, yes.
Diya Mittai. Yes.
Diya. Beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That was Garima and Diya. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. Next up is Dr. Gargi Saha. Please welcome Dr. Gargi Saha.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, sir, for inviting me on this platform of poetry recital. Today, my poem is entitled Colors of Hope. Hope has myriad colors and shines through the darkest darkness. Every cloud has a silver lining. Hope is a divine blessing. Hope opens new avenues, certainties, to scale heights and reach the goal. The blue signifies peace and dances with vigor and vitality. The yellow bird shines brightly of happiness, mirth, and glory. Orange signifies sacrifice, asceticism. Green highlights fertility, prosperity. Each color has its own significance in life. Sometimes hope, sometimes despair. Sometimes up, sometimes down. Sometimes positive, sometimes negative. Sometimes bliss, sometimes turmoil. Infinite natural, beautiful colors in nature. Umpteen marvelous inferences here and beyond. Hope gives a meaning to life. Let's never lose hope. Hope even in the dilemmas of life. Thank you. That was the first one. And the second one is introspection. I am churning in the wheels of life. Morning, sunset, dawn, midday, continues the cycle. Chores repeat themselves. Of discovering myself, my potentialities, my credibilities, creativities. Let me each day do something worthwhile, that is outstanding, that is honorable, that would leave indelible impressions on the sands of time. Let me recollect, who am I, from whom am I, deserve neglect or honor? Is it justified to be wronged always, belittled always? Who would justify injustice, cruelty, malfeasance? Let there be here peace, here and above, dignity of labor, honor for women, respect for the aged, mercy for the helpless downtrodden, non-violence in the world. Thank you.
Very well articulated, ma'am. Beautifully said, and yeah, introspection. Very crisp, yet Mrs. laced in. That was Dr. Gargi Saha. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. Please welcome Miss Sabita Sahu. Sabita Sahu is a social worker, social activist. She runs an NGO, and she is formerly a lecturer, English lecturer from, yeah, Brahmpur. Brahmapur.
Brahmapur. Namaskar to everyone. The title of my poem is The Last Question. I have answered all your questions. Why, how, when, where, what, whom. Life I have lived and living. Pain I have suffered and suffering. The eavesdrops of pleasures. I whisper to my soul, what other arrow remains unsought in your quiver, God? I visit the temple, waiting for your questions, self and the other, family and others, societies, crowds, meets, fests, conferences. I have seen them all. What else remains? Tell me, God. I haven't bargained to your nod to do things reverentially. A voice arose, shaking my ribs. What else? You haven't begun yet. This is unjust, God. This is unjust, God. I don't wish to prod, bother you with questions, but I have done everything you would approve. No, my child, whispered the air. Have you loved? Have you spread yourself over my universe? Do it now. I looked all around. Where is your universe? I see only the saffron flag waving in the air in silence. I see the waves striking their heads, biting the shores in agony. Will my ashes suffice to powder your universe, to make it more beautiful? Will my ashes suffice to powder your universe, to make it more beautiful? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Powerful outpouring, ma'am. Powerful outpouring. Very, very well recited.
I have
Beautiful.
another poem that is in my mother tongue, Odia. Can I recite?
Yes, yes, please, please.
The title of my poem is Jibbi Nahi Ithu. Means I'll not leave this place. I'll not go from here. Kavitara Shirsak Kahla, Jibbi Nahi Ithu. Kuade Jibbi Ithu? Kuade Jibbi Ithu? E Mati Sundar, Akas Sneha Bhara. ପବନର ମଧୁଛୁଆଁ ଅଦୃଶ୍ୟ ଘାଗରା ମଣିଷଟା କେତେ ଭଲ ସତେ ସୁନ୍ଦର ମନ ନେଇ ତାରା ପରି ହସେ କିନ୍ତୁ ଜାଣି ଶୁଣି ପଡିଯାଏ ନିଜ ଖୋଲା ଗାତରେ ହଁ ମଣିଷ ତ ସବୁ କରେ ସବୁ ବୁଝେ ସୌନ୍ଦର୍ଯ୍ୟ ଐଶ୍ୱର୍ଯ୍ୟ ମାଧୁର୍ଯ୍ୟ ବିଶ୍ୱଜ୍ୱାଳା ଅପଯଶ ଅପଶବ୍ଦ ଲୋଡି ଆଣେ ଇଚ୍ଛା ମଳୟରେ ତଥାପି ତ ସବୁ ଏଠେ ସୁନ୍ଦର ସବୁ ଏଠେ ମଧୁର ନିର୍ବାପିତ ବିଜୁଳି ସ୍ନିଗ୍ଧ କାଳିମା ଏଠେ ହସ ଅଛି ଅଛି କାନ୍ଦ ମଧ୍ୟ ରାଗ ଥାଳିରେ ସ୍ନେହ ଭରା ସ୍ନେହ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଛି ରାଗ ଥାଳିରେ ସ୍ନେହ ମଧ୍ୟ ଅଛି ଅମୃତର କଳସ ଥିଲେ ବି କଷ୍ଟର ବିଷ ପିଇଯାଏ ଅମୃତର କଳସ ଥିଲେ ବି କଷ୍ଟର ବିଷ ପିଇଯାଏ ସବୁ ମଧୁର ଏଠେ ତାକୁ ଛାଡି କୋଉଠିକି ଯିବି ତାକୁ ଛାଡି କୋଉଠିକି ଯିବି ଏଠେ ହିଁ ମୋ ସ୍ୱର୍ଗ ଏଠେ ହିଁ ମୋ ନର୍କ ଏଠେ ହିଁ ପାରିଜାତ ପ୍ରେମ ଆଲିଙ୍ଗନ ଏଠେ ହିଁ ଦିନ ରାତି ଚିତାର କ୍ଷଣିକା ଯିବି ନାହିଁ ଏଠୁ ମରିଗଲା ପରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୋ ପାଉଁଶ ଫୁଟିଯିବ ପଦ୍ମ ହୋଇ ପୂଜା ଘର ଗର୍ଭଗୃହରେ ମରିଗଲା ପରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ମୋ ପାଉଁଶ ଫୁଟିଯିବ ପୂଜା ଘରେ ପଦ୍ମ ହୋଇ ପୂଜା ଘର ଗର୍ଭଗୃହରେ ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ ଧନ୍ୟବାଦ means
Excellent,
even
ma'am.
after my death my ashes will turn into the pure lotus and that will be offered to the deity that is sanctum sanctum that is garbhagruhare that is the world is full of here you have tears here you have laugh here you have hate here you have love so this is only life so I cannot leave this is my existence this is what I am made of and I don't want to leave this place so this is about the poem thank you very much
Such a beautiful rendition, and Oriya is such a beautiful language. You know, I could follow everything you were saying. You know, everything is so madhur, everything is so full of sneha. You know, so much of
thank you ma'am
saundarya, all the right words, and it connects with Archana's poem. You know, life is a ferry. So you know,
yes
everything
yes
is here. You know, life is it. Thank you so much, Sabita.
thank you ma'am I was waiting for your comments Roopali ma'am
Ah, beautiful, beautiful as always. You always present your philosophical side of whenever you present your poems.
thank you
Of
sir thank you
thank you. Jibo nahi, है ना? Jibo nahi. Yes. Please welcome Ludita Mirea from Romania. Ludita.
Hello, Dr. Krishna. Hello to everyone. I'm from Romania but living in Spain. Okay, first I will read a poem that I wrote not long ago, and the title is Recreation. Sorry. Plastic crystals cast into shapes of butterflies. Meditation and illustrated lies, injuries, creation, cumulus on precipice of smoke, wall clock, meal, in fever of selfishness, to stop and recreate a world, homemade doll, pieces of windows, dustless streamers, special freshness rowing towards the summit a crowd, chains without chains, lost recreation. Writing in 30 of this month. All right, reserve. Thank you. I hope that all of you understand this poem. It's a little bit complicated. And I have another one.
Please,
Should I
please go
read
ahead.
it?
Please, please, please.
Okay. The second poem title is Letters in Poetry. Lack of formalities in suicide ceremonies. Through the old hiding place, full of letters violating the psychological space they have to support, of feelings accumulated in pyramid earthquakes and antiquity, reverence towards the points of light, discovering the incomprehensible sense of the movement, watered without tears and laughter, in the circle of a planet with white atoms raped, lyrics in poetry, is the journey, common and uncommon, that reveals the multitude of stars. Thank you.
Thank you, Ludita. Thank you for your work, and thank you for your work on peace and all. Thanks for joining. That was two lovely poems of yours. And please welcome Dr. Roopali Sircar Gaur, the mentor of this group. It requires no introduction. Yes.
Thank you so much, Prasanna, and dear friends who are poets. It's always so wonderful to be on this platform, to meet you all and listen to such wonderful poetry. Get connected, otherwise, we're getting so lonely, all of us. I have two poems that I wrote some time ago, quite some time ago. One is, when my father died, and we were in a city where, people meet each other when something like this happens. So a lot of people kept coming home, and, it was very good to be able to talk about my dad and so on. But when I came back to the capital city of this country, it became very isolated, and there was not a soul who was able to visit. So this is called Heart of a City. The smoke-choked city has smothered my grief, leaving only a lump in my throat. Faceless voices vibrating, busy telephone wires fail to connect hearts. See you next week. In a fortnight. 6 months later. Destination London, Paris, Bombay, and Bangkok. My friends, how will I bear this pain alone? The icy Ganga snatched away my father's bones. So this I wrote out of great pain because the sense of, so that's why the sense of community is very important, to be together, through our sorrows, through our joys, and we should not get isolated. So these forums we meet together. And there's another poem that I wrote, it's a memory, it's written out of a memory. My mother had kept a parrot in a cage because, those days parrots were kept in cages, people kept birds in cages. But the parrot would, it was very restless. So, I was little, I opened the cage door and it flew out. And when it flew out, a whole lot of crows came down and knocked it down and killed it within a minute. So I call this poem Vulnerability. And there are a lot of people like that. And people know you're vulnerable. I don't know how they find out. So this is called Vulnerability. There lived in another age a green parrot in an iron cage. It shut out the leafy trees and let in a piece of the sky so blue, this story is true. The clouds beckoned to the restless pride, come, come to us, fly, fly with us, across the dewy mountains to the red berry fountain. Captivity drove the green plumed parrot to distraction. Ruby red blood clung to the rusted iron of the cage. Impatient compassion flung open the door to freedom. A streak of flapping green flew towards the sky, a flurry of purple passion. The leaves rocked with joy, the earth laughed with flowers, the clouds danced without a care, and the ants stopped to stare. On a brooding branch, where speckled ladybirds sang in a row, sat the ink-dark cunning crow. Down it flashed from the green tree and dashed the parrot's flight to be free. A drilled head, strangled wings, bloodied eyes, dreaming the lie of a topaz sky. Wise crow, how did you know? So I sometimes wonder, how do people know that you're vulnerable? How do they swoop down and get you? So this little poem comes from my observation of the parrot that flew out of the cage. Thank you so much.
You always present a picture
Lovely poem,
beautifully.
ma'am. Birds' poems are so
Thank you.
sensitive and so, we must acknowledge their feelings too. Though they don't have any voice, we must give their feelings also a vent to. Thank
Yes,
you, ma'am,
yes.
sharing.
Always be amazed with your poems. Please give a round of applause, my dear friends. I have no words. Sometimes I get blank. Please welcome Dr. Miss Jayashri. Jayashri is a well-known poet. She writes in Bengali, Hindi, and English.
Thank you. Welcome. And I am Jayashree Ray from New Delhi. Good evening, all of my friends. And now I am poetic mood. This is the time, the springtime, blooming and splashing me a fragrance of spring. So, just we forget the letter. Letter to my spring, letter to my lover. বাংলা চিঠিতে তোমারই ঘ্রাণ, পুরনো কথাগুলো ফেলে দিয়ে চিঠি দিও প্রিয় বন্ধু, শব্দহীন স্মৃতিরা যেমন বলে কথা জ্যোৎস্না দিনের সাথে, কতখানি সরব করতে পারে তোমার সুগন্ধ বার্তা, অতীত যেন হয়ে যায় শুধু দিন যাপনের বিষণ্ণতা, জীবন কাব্যে থাকে রসহীন শৈলী, আনমনা দিনে নেই তাপ ভাঙা উন্মনা স্বাদ, বড়ই বেসুরো লাগে নিত্যদিনের যান্ত্রিক আলাপন, অনুযোগ অভিযোগ খসড়া সব ফেলে দাও, নিতান্তই অনুগত পাপক্ষয়ের বিলাসিতা ছেড়ে রাগিনীর বৈভব দাও, প্রেম দাও পরশ দাও, দাও বসন্ত বাতাসের সুগন্ধ বার্তা, বার্তা দাও তোমার সুগন্ধ চিঠির ঘ্রাণে, পূর্ণ বাসরে আমি নিমগ্ন হই তোমারই বাসন্তিকা, আমি চাই বিনোদন, আমি চাই বিনোদন, চিঠি দিও প্রিয় বন্ধু, চিঠি দিও. This is the English. My date with the spring. My dear, just received your message on the unwritten letter, which I don't have time to go through. You tell me of the changes in the nature, biological, environmental, and what not, or the effect of the tussle between El Nina and La Nina. But I can only see the riots of colors in the busy street of the metropolis, countless bougainvillea or pansy. Tragedy is We now speak and think only through the SMS, FB, and Twitters. We are trapped in the spectrum. My body wants to respond to all the immortal ragas, Bhairavi, Miyaki Tori, Iman Kalyan, and Basant Rag. My dear spring, your message sounds as sweet as clattering of the birds. As sweet as clattering of the birds. My dear, my date with the spring. Thank you. Thank you.
That was beautiful, ma'am. Thanks for joining. As always, today we got to listen a wonderful poems. Just profound,
Now the
profound.
spring, all over the world, the springtime.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So I want to please sing a song regarding spring. Prasanna, please sing a song.
A song. Come on.
you know song. I know. I heard last time.
Oh.
Please present the last but one spring song.
I don't know. I think I got to.
Rag Basant.
Rag Basant. Oh my God. No. But anyway, that was.
My poem was the letter to Basant. Okay.
Oh.
Please sing a song regarding Basant.
Song, I think I haven't ready by now. I mean, now, ma'am. If you could suggest me, I could maybe that. Then I would give me a song. Then.
A poetry.
Yeah.
Please read up.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That was so nice of you.
No problem, Prasanna. You are the famous poet, you know.
Come on, ma'am. I try my best. Not a famous, something like that. Something like. Okay, this is something I just have written. Get, just. I hope nobody would lose the hope of smile, the hope of happiness. Everybody should have the hope, no matter whether they see dark or dim light. A ray of hope would be suffice to shower the bliss. So let's hope that no one would miss the chance of envisaging the hope. That's it. That's it.
Thank you. Superb.
Thank you, ma'am.
One more.
One Hindi poem. Prasanna, Hindi poem.
Hindi poem. Yes. Hindi poem.
Feelings are darting around. They made a halt as the moment around. That's when he felt butterflies flying inside his heart and the love blossomed. Hindi one.
Butterfly. Okay, butterfly. Butterfly.
And maybe I think अब मैं नहीं अब मुझे लगता कोई फर्क राजा हो या रंग सभी है अनेकता अनेकता के पोशाक में ना ही किसी के पास संवेदना एक दूसरे के प्रति ना तो है प्यार ना ही दुलार सभी लोग हैं भागदौड़ में अब नहीं झिझकता लाश पर से छलांग कर मुकाम हासिल करने को इस रीत से मंजिल पाने से तो बेहतर है चुपकर एक बरगद के पेड़ की छांव में बैठकर अंतर्मन से आराधना करके पसंद करता हूँ जीवन बिताना पर एक है विडंबना कोई मेरे सुलझाओ वेदना कि मैं ये कहूँ अगर मुझे जाना है वही जहाँ ऋषि मुनि करते हैं साधना, फिर लोग कहेंगे अरे हट निकम्मा। तो क्या वैरागी है जो वैराग्य धारण कर जीवन के माधुर्य को त्याग कर रहा है, या फिर डर के मेरे भाग रहा है कठिन इम्तिहान के सामने करने से। पर मुझे है कहना नहीं, अब मुझे लगता कोई फर्क ना होता किसी बात का प्रभाव, क्योंकि मैं हूँ मदमस्त भांग के नशे में, दुनिया से दूर एक अपने घोंसाले में, जहाँ संतुलित है हर व्यवहार, ना ही ऊंच नीच का कोई फर्क, ना ही कोई द्वेष, ना ही कोई अनबन, ना ही कोई काला, ना ही कोई गोरा, ना ही कोई मजहब, ना ही कोई भेद स्त्री और पुरुष का। मैं हूँ उस आशियाने में चैन की सांस लेते हुए, अब मैं कलम से अपना एक नया संसार रचा रहा हूँ, क्योंकि और अब नहीं मुझसे सहे जाते इस जनावास के तौर तरीके, इस जनावास के तौर तरीके, इस जनावास के तौर तरीके।
Oh,
God, unbelievable, amazing. You've expressed our feelings, Prasanna. But
Not, I was not expecting at all, sir, कि आप इतनी अच्छी हिंदी कविताएं लिखते
अरे
हैं।
वो तो बहुत
Very
बढ़िया
good.
हिंदी, बढ़िया हिंदी कवि.
हाँ,
But
बढ़िया.
today
बहुत सुंदर.
before we Prasanna, before we conclude today, many of our poets and friends on this forum are not keeping good health. Their families are not keeping good health. And we are very concerned about them because we are deeply connected with them. And we thought that perhaps, if somebody, could recite a shloka or a prayer for good health, for their happiness, so that, their, families get well, their children, the people themselves. Could we do that,
Exactly.
Prasanna?
Exactly, ma'am. That
Yeah.
before beginning of the show, I tried to play the Durga Ashtakam, and but then people haven't joined. But I would request any one of your please volunteer, please, with a healing prayer, if you could just.
You can do that. You know a lot of shlokas. You do
Yeah,
it.
but,
You didn't wait. Yeah. When it comes to prayer, we don't have to ask. If you know a prayer, say it.
maybe I'm not prepared for that, ma'am, because I'm not that, but not doing Sabita, ma'am, or Vigilia.
Yeah.
Can
Yes,
I, sir?
Gargi.
Yes, please, ma'am. Please, ma'am. Please.
May I?
Yeah, please, anyway.
This is the Surya Pranam, which is called for the long life and prosperity of families. Om Java Kushum Shankasham Kashyaping Mahadhuting Dhantarim Sarve Papigna Vinashanam Parito Hoshmi Divakaram.
गायत्री मंत्र. भुवस्वः
तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि
धीमहि धियो
यो न प्रचोदयात्.
Om Bhurbhuva Swaha
Tatsaviturvarenyam
Bhargo
Bhargo
Devasya
Devasya
Dhimahi
Dhimahi
Dhiyo Yo
Dhiyo
Na
Yo
Prachodayat.
प्रचोदयात्.
Sir, one Arogya mantra is there.
Please.
Okay, so I request everybody to chant Om for 3 times, and after that I'll start with that Arogya mantra. So let's combine mass Om. Let's start. Om Arogya mantra. For 3 times I will recite. Achyutananda Govinda Namakara Veshajata Nishyanti Sakala Roga Satam Satam Vadamyaham. Om Achyutananda Govinda Namakara Veshajata Nishyanti Sakala Roga Satam Satam Vadamyaham. Achyutananda Govinda Namakara Veshajata Nishyanti Sakala Roga Satam Satam Vadamyaham. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Hope this brings much needed, healing to all those who are suffering and those who are down with depression, health issues, and heaviness, and the kind of daily thing. Thank you, ma'am. That is very much needed. Kri Achyutananda Govinda. It's a very powerful mantra, and it is said that if you chant this mantra and take a glass of water, it could be healed and instant relief.
Yeah.
That is, thank you, ma'am. It was right there in my mind, but then I could not dare to, recite the Mula mantra. Mula mantra is when you have this thing, so I can just, so focus is okay. So that is it. But thank you, ma'am. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
everybody.
Roopali, ma'am,
Namaskar.
thank you for
Thank you,
submitting this thing. And please give your vote of thanks to Sabita ma'am and Gargi ma'am and everyone out there. Roopali,
I
ma'am.
think our prayers are for everybody, and we've been very concerned because so many people are actually on our forum who are not keeping well, and the families are not. And it's a wonderful thing that we've been able to do it, and so many of you are learned in these matters. Unfortunately, I'm not able to recite shlokas, but that you were able to do it for us. We are grateful, but I think prayers don't need thanks. It's a thanks to God, to the Almighty, and we
It's for our
bless and wish.
family. It's for
God.
our
Yes.
family.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So lovely
Thank you.
evening.